Hi there, this is Roger Pascal. I'm the CEO of Real Impact Training System and Subject to Institute. So thank you for being on here tonight. At Real Impact, we improve the quality of people's lives through real estate investing. Excuse me. Our Real Impact franchises provide local investors with networking and educational meetings. Our locations are franchised, and our owners of those various locations are throughout Texas and Oklahoma. In addition to our monthly meetings, our franchise owners hold a variety of different one-on-one mentoring programs. We also do some breakfast networking together. We tour some properties. So we're here to help you out on your personal real estate journey. If you're interested in learning more about our training options, please reach out to one of our franchise owners or reach out to us. We'll be glad to get that to you. You can go to, let me put this up here real quick. You can go to realimpactcourses.com, new website for us. We have that put out in that, we're building that out every day. Okay, good deal. So just click on the locations button in the middle of the screen. So we're going to be joined tonight by a guest that we have. And let me get some things coordinated here. So there we go. So we're going to be joined tonight by Alexandra Stokes. So let me get her on here. There we go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. How are you doing?
Hello, I'm well. Right. Roger, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for joining us today. Now, Alexandra is with New Western Acquisitions. Probably the number one, if not in the top two wholesalers in the country. I would just guess. And so they're easy to work with. I've worked with New Western for multiple years. My students have worked with New Western. And Alexandra was born and raised in Arlington, Texas. Her parents were in real estate investing, so she was involved in several rehabs and in real estate from a very early age. She is a licensed realtor. When she got out of college, she looked at being a kindergarten teacher, but she could not get away from the real estate. So she opened a staging company, and that migrated into wholesaling. And about 6 years ago, she joined New Western. So good evening. How are you doing?
Thank you so much for the warm welcome.
Well, thank you. So tell us about what your role is in New Western.
Sure. I am an acquisition agent for the company. So all that means is I acquire the off-market properties that we present to investors. So I am constantly looking for deals to offer on, whether that's single family, maybe a land deal, a vacant lot, or potentially a commercial property.
Very good. Very good. So, I just want to give a little background story here. I had some students a couple of years ago. They found a house. They wanted to do a rehab. It was a big job. The house wasn't a mess. It was just never updated from the 70s. So the people that built the house, they lived there. They eventually passed away. Or the wife passed away. The husband had it. He moved off. And they were going to buy this house, two new investors, and they're going to want to rehab it. So they lived about an hour and a half away. And it was just too much for them. It was just, and I told them, I said, y'all don't need to be doing your first rehab an hour and a half away and probably $100,000 rehab.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Update on the house. So they did some minor cleaning up. They got the junk out of the house. They pressure washed the house. They had the yard done. And they put it out there, and they put it out to market it. And one of your colleagues at New Western reached out to them and said, hey, I've got a client that's very interested in your property. I know you're doing an open house on it on Saturday. Can we go over there on Friday? And y'all came over there, and the client looked at it. They made an offer that was more than what they expected. And it was a great offer, and it was a fast close, and we canceled the open house on the Saturday, and we made that deal happen. And my two investors were very, very happy with that whole process. If they would have tried to do that rehab themselves an hour and a half away, they probably would have been out of a marriage. because that just
Sure.
pressure
That's
just
very stressful. Very
crazy out there.
stressful. Well, I'm glad y'all had a wonderful experience. That's definitely what we strive for. We're known as fast closers, and I love to hear that it was a success for your students.
Absolutely. So if somebody wants to wants to sell a property and they want a cash offer, how do they go about to do that?
Sure, that's a great question, Roger. So the easiest way is simply to provide me an address. Reach out to me. My contact information I know is below here on our screen. All I need is an address, pictures, a background story of what repairs are needed, what the situation is, possibly what perks the seller needs, and a time that we can go walk it. It's as simple as that. Most of the properties that I offer on, I receive them the same day or the day before, and we're able to coordinate, you know, time to walk the property, get boots on ground, and check that rehab.
Awesome. So what kind of terms do you do your offers entail?
Sure, that's a great question. Our offers entail always a cash offer. We're buying the properties as is, there's no contingencies. We cover all of your seller's closing costs minus unpaid taxes and liens, and we'll close in a week.
Wow. Wow.
Sure.
Now
And
with that, go ahead. I'm sorry.
if your sellers, let's say maybe they need their proceeds to put a down payment on their next place, let me know that. We offer free 7 to 14 day leasebacks often for our sellers.
Very good. Very good. So how does somebody go about getting on your list if they're buying properties?
Sure, that's another great question. So we have a full office of acquisition agents in multiple counties across the United States. We started in Richardson, but now we operate in 26 states nationwide. All we focus on is supplying investors with off-market properties for them to make a profit. In order to get on our list, you just need to reach out to me, shoot me a text, a call, or an email, and I'll be happy to set you up with what area you're interested in. It's as simple as that. We don't charge for you to view our properties. We're specifically focused on working with active investors. You can
Very
fund
good.
our deals cash or hard money.
Very good. If somebody, do you have people, do you have lenders out there that will work with investors?
Absolutely. When an investor signs up to start reviewing our properties, that's one of the first things that we want to get situated is how do they want to close on their property? Whether they want to fund the deals cash or use a lender, we do have an investor portal made up of around 20, 30 lenders that we actively do business with. So let's say you have a student looking at a property they want to flip and they want to use a loan. If they have access to the portal, they're able to reach out directly to the account executive, tell her we're looking at 123 Main Street. These are the repairs. Can you please send us loan options? From there, she replies, and we're looking at 4 different loan options with different cash to qualify, experience, points, etc. So we're truly focused on not only supplying the investors with opportunities, but making it accessible to the investor that may not have, you know, that much cash laying around, but still wants to get started in the business.
Right. Right. So does that, I know you have just an incredible marketplace app. Is that part of that app or how does that work?
So that is actually provided as well. This is something that we came up with recently. Our IT team was working very hard on it. Basically, we send out a lot of properties. I know you are on my email list, so you constantly see the flow of inventory that's hitting your inbox. And that can be overwhelming for anybody. So the app is just a marketplace. It shows basically by a map where the available properties are. You're able to click on those little dots, look in specific counties or areas that interest you. You're able to view the information packet as well as have my direct contact info there. So you can give me a call and we can go get it.
And they get the app by, once again, calling or texting or email, correct?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I will give them the instructions to sign up.
Very good. Very good. So I know that y'all have done a phenomenal job on networking events to get out in front of people, to get them to get to know y'all. And so do you have any events coming up?
Absolutely. We sure do. We have our first quarter REI on tap that's going to be held next Tuesday at 6 p.m. in Highland Village at Lost Colony. I know that's a mouthful and a lot to retain, but I would be happy to share any information with anyone looking for a networking event for active realtors and industry professionals that are active in the DFW market.
Very good. Very good. So you talked earlier about your top properties you do acquisitions on, a single family, multifamily, and you also work a little bit into land development and commercial. Is there any deal that's too small or too big to bring to you?
That's a great question. No, I would say let me be the one to say we're going to pass on it, because we have all of our investors are at totally different stages of their game. We have investors that are all across the board looking for different opportunities to acquire. So if there's an opportunity for an investor to develop and make money on a project, we're gonna get that in front of our investor market.
Very good. So all of your properties, you make sure they have a clean title. Now I want to go into a story on this and tell you about one of my clients as a realtor with my realtor hat on here. So one of my clients found a for sale by owner, called the number on the sign, made a deal, paid cash for the property, and he rehabbed the property. It wasn't in bad condition, but it needed updating. Okay, and this particular investor, he kind of goes overboard. He makes his houses look really, really nice. They're pretty much, starter houses, 3-bedroom, 2-bath in a blue collar neighborhood. But he'll put crown molding everywhere. There'll be crown molding in the closet. I mean, he comes from a woodworking background, and he called me up and said, "Hey, I found this house. I've closed on it. I'm wrapping up my rehab. I want you to come over and take a look at it. And we're going to want to list it and put it on the market. It was a fix and flip." So I go over there and take a look at it. Fabulous job. And then I go home and I get ready to do the listing agreement, and I pull up the tax records. So I call him up and I said, "Hey dude, what title company did you close at? Because it's still in the other guy's name. We need to get that taken care of." And he said, "Well, I didn't close at a title company. I closed at a McDonald's." And I'm like, "Ooh, okay. Well, call the seller and get what title company he closed that with, so we can go ahead and get that process done so we can get this listed." And he calls me back and he says, "Well, his phone number doesn't work and his email bounces back." And I said, "How do you know to get a hold of him?" "Well, I don't know how." I said, "Did he have an address or anything on the contract?" "No, there was no address to reach him at." And I'm like, "Ooh." So we get on the horn. We start doing a skip trace on it. We find that the guy that sold it to him was not the real owner. And he turns around and so he did not own the house, but he rehabbed a house. So we spent a better part of a week skip tracing. He finally found the real owner of the property, contacted the real owner, made a deal to buy it from him, even though it was already rehabbed. He didn't tell the real owner that. He only wound up, we closed it right. We got it and turned around and got it sold. He only wound up losing a little bit of money. It wasn't a terrible, but it could have been devastating. It could have been devastating to his financial because of the purchase of the price and the
Sure.
cost of the rehab. So he didn't make money, but he didn't lose. He could have lost more money.
Sure, no kidding.
And we see that kind of in the industry, and y'all are pretty much nationwide.
We sure are.
And you mentioned a while ago the real estate on tap, and that's on Meetup. So if you're interested, go to meetup.com and you'll find that on there. Or once again, just reach out to Alexandra. But you got to be aware of people that decide, oh, I'm going to be a wholesaler, I'm going to make a quick buck, and they bring you a property. Just never, first of all, never ever give an individual earnest money. That goes to a title company.
Oh, yes.
That always goes to a title company. It is actually not legal for an individual to hold earnest money because they're not licensed to carry, to have that earnest money. So do not give anybody a check made out to that individual. Make sure it's made out to the title company, or however that's done. It could be made out to a legitimate company like New Western to hold it, to make sure that property is held before another investor grabs it. But always be aware of that. Always be aware of the scams. Never buy anything off the internet. Never buy anything that you don't see, because Google Earth or Google Street View could be a little outdated.
Sure.
And you can go by and it could be a vacant lot, and that happens.
Yes.
So like I said, you want to be, for anybody on this call, you want to be very aware that there are great wholesalers like New Western, and Alexandra is one of the top people that I work with at New Western, and we do a lot of deals through New Western. Actually, probably sell as many properties to New Western as we buy from New Western, and they're the ones out there with the boots on the ground. Literally going to find these houses. They're very good at knowing what the property should be valued at, what the repairs are being need to be. Because they want you as a long-term customer. There's exactly. A lot of these wholesalers out there that are looking for that one-time bang, and they're out of it, and they don't care whether you make money or not, and they may not give you really the most accurate numbers. So what I found with New Western is they're very fair, extremely fair when they're buying a property, and they're very, very extremely fair too when they're selling you the property. They're going to give you all that information that you need. You just got to understand, anybody on this call, well, let me ask you, how quickly does the average property move when you've got a property listed for your investors?
So if it's not a showing where it's a set hour block of time, my best deals sell in minutes.
Wow.
As soon as I know that it's coming available and I have a buyer that wants that type of deal, I'm going to text him, be by your computer. This one's releasing. There's no competition. And we're going to go out and get it. And of course, in real estate, everything happens very fast. You have to be fast to get the best deals.
Absolutely. So when you're working with us sellers, with us buyers, let's put the buyer end of it. When you're working with the buyer, so you're actually interviewing us and understanding what our needs are. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, not every property that I'm going to put out is going to be a fit for each investor. Like I tapped on earlier, we have a wide range in what types of properties we sell. We have anything from a vacant infill lot to, a build to rent community that, is already pre-platted with streets and sewers. So there's a big difference in what investors want. So all of our sales agents are very equipped at keeping things organized. So as soon as you're ready for your next project, pick up the phone, definitely let us know, because you're going to be our first call. And if you don't want that property, we're going to call the next investor, because whoever wants it, we're going to go out there and make sure that they get the deal.
Very good. Very good. So on your app and on your website, you have on there all the different locations you have nationwide.
Yes.
Just quick question. I don't know if you have that number, but how many locations do y'all have, or how many marketplaces are y'all in?
So we had 51 the last time that I checked. And these are Mecca markets as well. Like right here in DFW, we have 4 offices across DFW. Now, Houston, San Antonio, they all have their own offices because we focus on our main mecca markets so we can just completely engulf ourselves in the knowledge of these markets, the neighborhoods, everything. So we're giving you all the best information on the properties.
All right. So for instance, I live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area and the East Texas area, and excuse me, I have a relative that has a house in Houston, and they want to get rid of the house. So do I reach out to you, or do I reach out to somebody in Houston? How do we work that?
Absolutely. Give me a call. I've been with the company a little over 6 years now and work with the top agents in each market to make sure that anyone doing business with me in New Western is receiving the best service for their properties.
Very good, very good. So I'm excited that you're on here today. Um, I have been working with New Western for I don't know how many years, but many years. I would at least 10 years, if not longer. I just really appreciate what they bring to the table. Once again, it's very important to make sure you have a clear title and you don't have you don't have an issue out there with things that come about, and I tell people all the time, I tell clients all the time, students all the time, is you've got to make sure you really concentrate on that clear title, because mowing liens come about, child support liens come about, IRS liens come about, all those things that follow that past owner, and y'all have a system set up where all that is taken care of. So that is just phenomenal on that.
Absolutely.
Well, good deal. So, do you have anything in closing as we close out tonight?
So we have plenty of properties available, ranging from single family all the way to a few commercial deals. Please reach out to me if you are just starting in the business or you are seasoned. I would be more than happy to connect with you. And please take my number down on the screen here below and store my number in your phone for a future deal.
All right, good deal. So, thank you so much for being on here tonight, and we look forward to working with your deals. I'm looking at my calendar. I think the 20th is open. So,
Wonderful.
but if you're reviewing this video and it's after the 20th, just reach out to Alexandra, and she can definitely get you hooked up. Y'all do these on a quarterly basis, is that right? The real estate on
That
tap.
is correct. Yes, we
All
do.
right. Good deal. Good deal. So, as I teach my students all the time and tell my clients, it is imperative that you work relationships. This whole business is about networking and relationships and knowing where you can. And, if those clients that I had that sold that particular property, if they didn't know, if they weren't coaching with me, they would have never known that they could have sold that property to New Western, because that wasn't even on the radar. And that was part of the conversation I had with them. And they're going, well, they're a wholesaler. They won't buy from me. Well, they got to buy from somebody, and
Exactly.
already they've for coming on tonight. And if you have any questions or anybody on this call, reach out. Alexandra.
Thank you so much.
Here, but we're going to go ahead and close this out. Thanks for being on there. Fun for being on here tonight.
Thank you.